What's up, what's up? Welcome back to the Rat Cave. Look who I've got here, it's my boy. It's Jimi Needles inside. Mate, it's been a while. Been a while since you've been here.
Yeah, man.
The new Rat Cave.
It's lovely. It's awesome.
The new Rat Cave in the secret location. Look, so Jimmy, I've got you here today because we are visiting back to the weapon, the Rane ONE Serato DJ controller. Now, before we get into this, just to say this isn't a tech run through of this controller. I've done that video. I will link it in the description of this one. So if you want to know all the ins and outs of this controller, that's what this video is. What this video is with Jimmy today, Jimmy, you've had this controller now for coming up a year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So this is like a sort of Jimmy's 1 year with the Rane ONE, yeah?
So our 1 year, our 1 year anniversary.
Wow,
we didn't come up with that. That's literally it. Wow.
There it is. So literally, mate, what I want to kind of do today is just pick your brain about this controller.
Yeah.
We've seen its competitor come out recently.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are on the fence between the two.
Yeah.
You haven't played on the other one yet, have you?
No, I have not. So,
but
to-do list.
But this, you've had this for nearly a year now. So, mate, let's get into it. What are your favourite features about the Rane ONE? What are maybe some features which you think could be improved on? You know, let's get into that.
Great, let's go.
Right, mate. So the Rane ONE. Why? Why the Rane ONE?
Well, two reasons. So, end of the pandemic, and all the gigs were coming back, and I'm basically getting booked to play all these venues that I knew had kind of substandard DJ setups, where some stuff had been left for like 2 years gathering dust, you know, and I got back into some venues and they were like, oh my god, there's like dust and fluff, and I'm like, oh, it's all the faders and all the crevices, and you're like, oh man.
You're lucky enough to play in a lot of venues that do actually have turntables. I know you bring your own battle mixer, don't you?
That's right.
But, you know, with CDJs and that kind of digital vibe, you know, it's like, obviously you do still need to service them, but
yeah,
the main problem with a turntable is, of course, we went through all of this.
Yeah, if if the tone arm's not well serviced,
you're knackered.
You guys have probably been like in a similar situation. You know, I plugged my needle in, perfectly brand new, and the Seratos are playing backwards, and there's crazy distortion. You're like, I just don't want that, man. I just want to get to a venue and smash it. And first 10 minutes of every DJ set was like, it's just me figuring out what's wrong with the equipment, and that shouldn't be like. You should go straight in there and smash it, you know. But and secondly, I was getting booked for these orchestral shows on these big stages. We're doing so we do this thing called Symphonica, and it's a big 27-piece orchestra. I'm the DJ. I'm doing bits of scratching, cut and paste kind of thing. I'm actually covering for Mr. Switch. It's his main project, but shout out to Mr. Switch. It's kind of his main thing, but I'm the kind of standing guy. And I knew that if I took turntables onto a big booming festival stage, the tracking is going to be terrible. I could probably use phase or something else, but using anything with a needle is just going to skip. And
so actually that kind of brings me on to something. So for those that don't know, Jimmy, the irony, of course, Jimi Needles, we've done it in so many videos, but you are actually a Rane 12 man yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, so my first choice for most venues would probably be like a flagship mixer, pair of Rane 12s, like 100%. But that's not always going to happen, and you can't really expect companies to hire them in for you. It's not really a thing, you know. They go Technics, CDJs. That's what you can hire.
Yes. But as well, you don't drive.
No.
At the moment. Cross fingers for your test. We won't say when it is. But so you catch the train a lot, and to lug either a pair of turntables or even a pair of 12s, which are lighter than turntables, but they're still big, and your mixer.
Well, luckily, I mean, all the turntables are so robust, but it's not possible to bring them on a train.
Or even just the ball ache of actually taking them in a car and all of that stuff. You know, and taking them in and out. With this, it's so portable, but it is actually saying that it's quite heavy, isn't it? But it's really well built. It's built like a tank.
Built for the road, for sure.
Yeah.
It's been to maybe 20 shows now, like big shows, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's like if that was a much kind of cheaper intermediate plasticky kind of thing, I'd be a bit more worried. But because it's so solid, it's actually quite nice to take on the road. If a bit heavy. Yeah. If a bit heavy. But, that's...
Because actually you use a shoulder bag, right? The Magma shoulder bag.
Yeah.
And
so I'm always walking like that, so...
it's like, Jimmy's here. Jimmy's got the swagger. No, mate, no, I'm just carrying the one. So feature-wise then, Like,
yes.
Yeah. What's your...
Just kind of going back on what I said earlier, which was the fact that like a loud, busy, booming stage is not going to impede the tracking for Serato, which is my main objective. I just didn't want to get on stage and get needle fluff or something go wrong where the beat would stop because then the whole orchestra would go out of time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's on me.
Yeah.
So this was a foolproof way to do it. It's either this or CDJs, and I chose this because it's it feels like vinyl. So I went with this. The mid part of the mixer, it just feels like a flagship. It feels amazing, and the crossfader is really tight. Mag 4. You can adjust the tension if you want as well, and there's a curve control on the front. So for a scratch DJ, it's very much at home. I'm very much at home with the mixer aspect of the controller.
Your muscle memory of it's good as well because everything's where you think it should be. Because I mean, you use a, you've got a few mixers, haven't you? But you do use a 72 as well. Which is obviously
it's basically just like So and of course the pads as well because. Most DJ sets now, we're all using the pads as well a lot more. And for this project in particular, it was like, I need them right at the front, the forefront, and the placement it just made sense. It's a no-brainer. You can cycle through all those different settings.
Yeah, you're quite a cue-heavy DJ. I am as well. It's nice to have them there. And the pads are like, they're made out of proper nice rubber, and they are heavily well-made pads. They don't feel cheap, and you can whack them about.
Yeah, you can hammer them like like an MPC and go crazy. And they'll always respond well. Absolutely. And then you've got these other kind of the subcategories you can flick through, like your save loops, your rolls, your sampler. Again, all that stuff I use for the orchestra as well as my DJ set. So it ticked all the boxes for what I do, for sure.
So to sort of just go, so when you're talking about the orchestra, this is such a good tool for when you are playing. A lot of DJs play you've got that niche orchestra gig, but this in a band maybe, where you see sort of, the new metal era is kind of gone, shouts DJ Lethal. This is so powerful for that kind of big stage, big festival, big booming bass and all that kind of stuff. But also at the same time, of course, I think the reason why Rane brought this out was for a portable answer to taking 2 turntables and a mixer out, isn't
absolutely.
it? So it does tick a lot of boxes for a lot of situations and a lot of different DJ sets. Yeah,
absolutely. I wouldn't say it replaces your current setup, but it's like as a working DJ, because of this, I've now been able to say yes to more shows.
Perfect.
And that's what you want at the end of the day. Like, I want to be able to go, yeah, I can do that, and I'll take my own stuff. That's fine, no problem. Let's go. That's how it was. And I think if I'd used, hired equipment, I think a lot of things would have gone wrong very quickly, So I'm really glad that this got to see, last summer. Absolutely.
So you've had this for 1 year now, mate.
Yes.
How have you developed with it?
Well, you know what, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I never used to touch the Serato internal effects, ever. I was like, I don't want that. I've got my, onboard mixer effects. And it really forced me, because there's no, obviously, onboard effects native to it. You have to access the...
This is only software effects. There isn't any built-in beat effects, as it were.
Exactly. And that forced me to, really just get on board with, what's going on. And actually, there's loads going on. There's actually loads of stuff that I hadn't even considered using before. I'd flick through it and be like, oh, that doesn't interest me, but because there was nothing, it was no reverb or anything. I've got reverb, I've got fade combos and stuff on there, really cool stuff, and that's just for my DJing as well as these other shows that I've been doing.
Just to say as well, so you can get expansion packs for Serato DJ Pro, which have got more effects and everything like that. So, and there are actually so many, and I believe, without going into a Serato rant, I actually believe that you're almost a bit spoilt for choice, and I've looked at them in the past and gone, whatever, I'll just stick to the internal effects. So that's really cool that it's kind of pushed you into
and it's on other mixes now. I'm like, oh, I'll use the native ones that come with the mix, and I'll use a few of my favourites, and because it's all saved.
Course in Serato they'll be saved in your so you can go a bit.
So that's kind of it's just enriched my DJ experience a little bit. Oh, so with the whole scratching thing. pretty much in fact every scratch that I can do on a regular setup can be translated very well onto this. There's nothing that I struggle with.
Proof actually, Jimmy has done a routine on this, which I'm putting at the end of this video, so you can see. And it just to explain that, it starts at what speed? 1
to 4, all the way up to 200 BPM. So
you know that
the full spectrum of scratches.
Yeah, showcases how good this is for scratching, and also showcases Jimmy's scratch skills, of course.
Well, you know,
the needle man himself. Yeah. No needles. But yeah, so you know, you can do all the scratches that you want on this. You haven't felt, because with the 12s, obviously bigger platters, but you haven't struggled with these platters at all.
No, I mean, one day I'd like to see if I could get like a 7-inch vinyl and mount it on there just for the feel, but that's the only thing I'd probably change about the platters, to be honest. They're amazing. They're really responsive as well, you know.
Nice.
But also, yeah, with the platters, funny enough, you can kind of do the traditional, you know, push the platter to keep things in time. So if you're a little bit laggy, or you can use the pitch bend if you want. I use a bit of you know, you just go to what you're comfortable with, don't you? You just don't really think about it. You just go, I'm mixing records, it's a bit out of time. Pitch bend, okay, stroke the platter on this side, and you're in time. So
this is actually the beauty of the Rane One, is that you've got 3 kind of different ways to do it, which is you've got 2 ways really with a turntable, but you've got you can like touch a side to slow it down.
Yeah.
And actually with this, the beauty of it is you can do the old spindle pinch, but then also you've got the pitch bend, slow it down, speed it up as well, for maybe a more digital way to do it, you know, rather than a more hands-on. And actually, well, you can also do that as well, can't you? You can do the old
exactly.
Do the old pitch fader,
that works too, absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, proper legit as if you were using turntables.
Because I do a lot of the drum production for myself and this orchestra that I kind of dep for. You kind of really, you know, you hear your music through different sound systems, and one thing I noticed on really big sound systems, the sound from, you know, the mixer section from this is absolutely amazing. It's really warm. It's not harsh. It's not like digitally. It's something I can't quite put my finger on it, but maybe you guys will agree or not. I don't know.
I think that you're quite blessed in the fact that you have been able to take this on tour on massive, huge productions and big sound systems and stuff. So you, and especially like you said, you've made the beats yourself. So you know what they're supposed to sound like.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've heard what they sound like in your studio or in a club or whatever, but then being able to play them on a whopper stage, you've noticed how good this sounds.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, that speaks volumes.
Wow. Brilliant.
You went there.
We're not cutting, we're just going to carry on. Should we talk about a few gripes?
Yes.
Because, you know,
I appreciate your honesty on this, mate, because this is what I think people will listen to this, is that you're not just going to say that this is the greatest thing and there's absolutely perfect and there's nothing that you would change.
Yeah.
You know, so you do have a couple of little bits.
Yeah, little things. The up faders are, you know, if we're talking about like, oh, you know, I'm going to do all my up fader scratches and stuff, that's kind of a different kettle of fish, because I could do all my scratches using the crossfader, but the up faders feel like they let the mixer section down a bit because they're not as buttery. But you can still adjust them, but they are not as smooth. If you know what, if the up faders were as smooth as the Mag 4 crossfader, they're not Mag 4.
They're not. No. So it's only Mag 4 on the crossfader. Yeah. So it's a shame really, because the Rane 70 mixer has got 3 Mag 4s.
Yeah.
And you know, you can change the faders on the other mixers. You can't change these as far as where we like they're soldered in. You can change and replace the crossfader.
Yeah.
And you can change the tension on these, but it's just not quite enough for you.
It's there are some scratches where I like to do cuts on the up faders and certain things like that. Also, if you're blessed in this situation to be a left-handed scratch DJ, if you do aggressive up fader cuts, you might knock the pitch. It's very possible to knock the pitch on this side.
Sure. But
you just got to be careful. You just got to, you know, just be pro. You know. But the up faders kind of it doesn't inhibit certain scratches, but it doesn't feel as they don't feel as responsive, I suppose, is what I'm going for. They're not stiff. They're just not as buttery.
I think up fader scratching is a lot less common than cross fader scratching.
So if you're good with your up fader, then you can just you know translate that to the cross fader and do it there. But you're doing fades and stuff, that's not an issue. You know, you're doing fades like something like this. You know, so that's fine. But you couldn't do that on the cross fader. But then if I want to do some super aggressive like cuts, You can hear on the crossfader, I don't get any of the reverse sounds, and on here I do, and it's because it's not responsive enough. But that's, you know, you work around that.
The thing is about that as well as where this sits in price. Obviously, to put in
3,
it would bump up the price, and I think that people, is the market big enough for? Is the up fader scratch market big enough, or would, you know, for it to be more money?
Well, this is it, man. Like, look at the portabilist scene. They managed fine without an up fader. They've just got a little master one, and they're like, yeah, it doesn't bother us. So, you know, you just it's just an observation that I'd love to see if you know, something else came out maybe in a few years. I don't know.
So it's a shame that the up faders or the channel faders aren't Mag 4s. Anything else?
I mean, this is a very small gripe. The Booth Output is XLR, which has thrown a lot of people. I've actually had to play without monitors at a few places because I haven't had the right leads. And yeah, sure, there's a master RCA output, and then it's a Booth XLR and your main, again, XLR.
Yeah.
So there's no line, so you know, you expect to plug a jack in.
Quarter inch jack.
Yeah,
TRS,
you're like, well, where does this go? And you're like, oh. So very easy fix, guys. Just buy a converter like I did.
Yeah, or just buy a bring the right cable with you to be a bit of prep. Yeah. But no, to be honest, I mean, it took me by surprise as well. And actually, in here, this is guilty. Actually, this is why we're coming out of the RCA master out into the mixer to record and stuff.
You didn't have the leads, did you?
I know I've got them somewhere, but it's not. I've got my pile of leads down there, which is my common pile of leads, which I need for most controllers and stuff that I'm reviewing in here. And that's not really one that I've actually got. So you know, it's a first world problem, but it's a good problem to have. But yeah, I mean, slightly annoying. But
I guess just gone with, because XLR, you're getting a slightly higher output, a louder output. If you start with a higher output and work backwards, you're still going to have a louder.
Sure.
Output. If you start with a line, you can't have a punchier output. But slight gripe, but it's very small.
Yeah. But I mean, apart from that, Jimmy, 1 year with the Rane ONE.
Yeah.
Like great time.
It's going to see another year on the road for sure. I'm doing plenty of shows with you know, Depping for this orchestra this summer, and lots of festivals too. And I've almost got, I've got 2, maybe 3 festivals that I'm definitely going to be using.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thing is, you just know as well, because you're used to it. You know what it sounds like. You know that there's not going to be any problems with the equipment because this is, and it's so portable. But it's a shrunk version of the turntable and battle mixer setup that you that you want, really. Yeah. You don't need that anymore because you've got this.
If you're fed up of turning up to gigs and having to use one turntable because they're both broken and mixing back into the same deck, then this product is for you.
Yeah, or even, like you said, if you're used to turntables and you're a turntablist kind of DJ, not having to settle to use CDJs, because a lot of people don't like using CDJs. You don't, do you?
I can use them if I have to.
Right, but you prefer not to.
Oh yeah, I probably prefer using this.
Right, so this is it, isn't it? So there you go then, guys. Really, I mean, that's the kind of that's the honest review from Jimi Needles, who has been touring with this Rane ONE for nearly a year now. Turntablist guy, you know, and 2 small gripes, but not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world.
Not a game changer at all. So all in all, how many needles out of 5 would you give this?
I would give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 needles.
4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right, mate, well, let's leave it there then. Jimmy, let's not leave it so long next time. Thank you for coming in to the Rat Cave, as always. Guys, what do you think of the Rane ONE? Drop us a comment in the comments section. Let us know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the DJKit YouTube channel. Hit the little bell notification so you get notified when a new video comes out. And just send this to anyone who might be teetering on the edge, possibly about getting one, maybe looking at something else. This might be the old tipperoonie. Look, right, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to leave you actually with Jimmy with that sick routine that you did on this earlier. But yeah, until next time, guys, you take care. Peace.
Ciao.
All the younger guys coming up playing fast chops. I like to play fast chops. Yes, fast chops are amazing. Even with speed, you gotta start out slow, slow, slow. mistake wanting to play fast, but let's bring it back down to what got you to playing fast. You want to play fast? Let's take it a whole nother direction, okay? And wanting to nail these chops and wanting to be fast, okay? You want to be fast. You got to push yourself. That means you got to practice. You got to practice slow, medium, intermediate, everything. Everything takes time. And then make sure you cut on the metronome. For those of you that don't land on the one, it's so important to land on the one in these chops. If you don't land on the one in the chop, then your chop does not count.